Crafters. In tonight's video, we're going to be making a birthday card. We're going to be using the crossover gatefold design along with the Tractor & Company photopolymer stamp set and dies. And for the background paper, we're going to use our blending brushes along with the cloud dies found in the Sunrise Sailing dies. Hi, I'm Joan and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I created this video for Joan Simple Paper Crafts found right here on YouTube. If you're new here, I want to thank you for stopping by. If you're a returning guest, welcome back. Be sure to subscribe by clicking the subscribe button below. That way you won't miss when I post a video, which is typically once a week. Now give me a few seconds to turn the camera down and we'll get started.
Here's that crossover gatefold card that we're going to make tonight. And the gatefold is like this. So it's crossover, so you got to pull this out, and there you go. And then to get it back, I just twist it just a little bit and just put it underneath that bale of hay there. How we made this, we used the Tractor & Company photopolymer stamp set along with the Tractor & Company dies. We use these stamp sets with the coordinating dies. We use the corn stalks, the corn cob, the hay, it's your birthday, the bale of hay, the main tractor, the tires for the tractors, and the trailer for the tractor. And I'm just going to put this over here for right now. And then we use two more dies from the Sunrise and Sailing dies, and that is these clouds right here. And so to get started, we're going to need a piece of 11-inch cardstock, and we need 4 1/4. I'm going to trim this down as if I'm making 2 cards. So first I want to score it at 2 3/4 inches. That's going to be our first fold there. And this is our scoring blade. And this is our trimming blade. And I added a third blade. It looks just like the trimming blade, which essentially it is, except for it's a lot duller because I've used it quite a bit. And now I can use it for the foil and the glitter paper that I'm going to be cutting in other projects. And then these are mounted onto this track here, and we can push them out of the way so that we can either do the cutting or the scoring. And then there's also an arm on here that extends it out to 17 1/4 inches or 43.7 centimeters. Let's go ahead and get started. So what did we need? We need 2 3/4. And I'm just going to score this. Okay. Then we need to cut it at 4 1/4 inches. And 4 1/4 inches is going to be 10.8 centimeters. And then we have our 11 inches here, and that is 27.9 centimeters. And then that 2 3/4 inch score line is right here. Let me talk about the score line just a bit. So there's a little dimple there where we scored it. And then on the other side, there's a mound. So what we want to do is we want to just fold it away from the dimple. And we'll burnish that with our scoring blade just in a minute here, because I want to cut our white paper before we go any farther. So we have our piece of basic white, and we're going to cut this at 5 1/4 inches or 13.3 centimeters. And then we're going to cut it at 4 inches, or that's going to be 10.2 centimeters. And we need 2 of these, so we'll cut another one. So that's 4 inches, 10.2 centimeters, or 5 1/4 inches, which is 13.3 centimeters. Okay, and then we simply need to cut this one in half. So that would be 2 inches. And 2 inches is going to be 5.1 centimeters. That's all we need for our paper. You're saying, wait, don't you have all this other things? Well, that's going to be scrap paper. So if you're starting from the beginning, I would just use the rest of this here to make the rest of these elements here. Okay? So I said I'll bring this back in. We want to score this, and we scored it at 2 3/4 inches. And we're burnishing it on both sides. Then I'm just going to bring it, and rather than scoring it again on 2 3/4 from this side and have it be off a little bit, I'm just going to fold it over and bring it right up to that line there. Hold that in place and fold it down here. And we'll burnish it with our tool here. And then we'll fold it over and burnish it. I like getting that nice crisp edge there. And next we need to do these here. This is our gatefold, and we're going to go from both directions. One is going to come from the left, so that's the one we want to go this way, and the other one is going to come from the right, going like this. But we want to color these before we do anything else with them. And I'm just going to bring in a piece of paper, and we're going to use our crumb cake and our Coastal Cabana. We'll start with the crumb cake first. And we're going to use our blending brushes, and I've got 2 of them here. And this one I'm going to use with the crumb cake, and this will be with the Coastal Cabana. And I'm just going to bring in a little bit on the brush, and I'm going to start on the paper here and bring it on in. So I don't want to have a gob of darkness there. And I want to have it be a little bit darker toward the bottom and then fade away toward the top portion. Oop, a little spot there. Hopefully I can blend that out. I think the tractor will cover that up, so we should be okay there. I don't know how I got that on there. I don't see a spot on the brush itself. I think that's probably about right now. Well, we did a little darker than that, so let's go ahead and do a little bit more darker. At least the bottom portion will get darker. There, that looks better. Okay. And I'll set that there to dry. And then we're going to use our Coastal Cabana, doing the same thing. Oh, I went and did crumb cake. All right, we are done with the crumb cake, so I'm going to just put that away. We need our Coastal Cabana open. And I'm just going to brush this off here. And go ahead. We've got a little bit of dark spot right there, but I'm pretty sure the corn is going to cover that up. And I'm just going to come back in again. And I'm going to leave it like that. That looks good, I'm thinking. And I'm just going to take a second and go wash out my brushes. So I'll be right back. I'm just going to run some water on these. So as you can see, I'm trying to get any more out of that, and there isn't any more ink in there. It's all coming out clear. So these are clean. Next, we're going to want to glue these down. And I'm going to bring out my silicone mat. And we're going to use this for our glue gun. And we'll use this type of glue inside of here. So this is our multi-purpose liquid glue, and you can find this in the catalog. And I'm using this glue gun because I don't have the strength in my hands anymore to squeeze these glue bottles. It's just too hard for me. And then the other thing is I have better control with this. So that's why I like it so much. I'm going to open this up, and we're going to just glue the first piece down. Let me just show you how placement first before we do anything. We want to have 1/8 of an inch for a border are on the edge on all four sides. And we're going to have these butt up right next to each other. And so I'm going to just go ahead and glue this right here. And I'm not going to go all the way up halfway, because I don't want to make a mistake there. And we're going to put the glue on this just about halfway. Sorry, my head was in the way. Good thing I had this mat here. So we want to leave 1/8 of an inch for a border. And I'm going to bring this closed. We want to make sure we've got it lined up properly. And I'm going to bring this in just to verify before the glue gets set. That's going to work fine there. So I'm going to take my bone folder and just rub all the glue bubbles out. Then we'll do the same thing with the other side here. So we're going to just do a little bit of glue here, the edge there, within 1/8 of an inch there. And then we're going to glue this one here. So right about here. And we want that to be 1/8 of an inch. And I am going to close this up again to make sure we've got it lined up properly. And we've got it just a bit off there. There. That's lined up there. Both edges. Perfect. Okay, so there's our flaps. Gatefold. And then we're going to go ahead and put all these things on there. We'll do the top part first. So we're going to need to get our clouds first. That is just with a piece of scrap paper. We're going to bring in our mini cut and emboss machine. And we're going to use plate number 1, plate number 2, and then we'll put the paper down and the dies. And right now I'm not going to use any of the tape because it fits on there just fine, where in a few minutes I'll show you how to tape this down. This is plate number 2 that we just put on top. Then we're just going to crank it out. There we go. And that's what we needed to do there. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp everything else we need to do. We need to stamp the tractor. And we're going to use the Real Red for the tractor. We've got the tractor and the trailer. There. And then I'm just going to stamp off right here, because we're going to want to use our Stampin' Scrub to clean this ink off from here. But I'm going to just stamp a few more things and then we'll scrub everything at the same time. So we got that one ready. Then we're going to do our corn next. We're going to use Granny Apple Green. And we're going to do this twice. I think I'm going to use this for the corn. And we can close this up. I think we're done with the Real Red. And we're done with the Granny Apple Green. Then we need our Daffodil Delight for the corn. All right. Then we need some tires. I don't know if this is big enough for the tires. Yep, that looks big enough. Let me close this up. And we're using Early Espresso. And we're going to need a total of 3 tires before we're done. There's 2, and we need 1 more. Let's see if we can't get the bigger tire here. I'm trying to move my stamp around so we're not going always in the middle there. Ooh, that didn't look right. Well, let's try another one. Oh, there must be something on here. We can correct that with our Stampin' Right marker. I'm going to just go bring this in here. I see that has a bend in it. That's why it did that. Okay, we got that done. And 1 more, our bale of hay. And that's going to be in our crushed curry. And I have to find it. Here we go. All right, we are done. So I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Scrub, and we're going to spray some mist on here. And I'm going to spray it on this side right here. There's a raindrop there. That means this is the wet side. And then this is a sunshine. And that means this is the dry side. So we're going to spray it. And I'm going to move it away from the table because I don't want to get it on my stuff that I just stamped. I gave it a really good squirt there. See how clean that is? Let me see if we can find a spot here. Hope you can see that. It's not any ink on there. The rest I'm going to speed up on. Okay, so next we're going to want to die cut. So let's bring in our mini cut and emboss machine again. Again, we're going to use the number 1 plate, the number 2 plate, our stamped image. First, let's just tape this down. So we've got that stable. Then we're going to take our paper that we had used for cutting other pieces out, and we're going to line this so that it's centered over there. We're going to make sure that there's the same amount of space between the edge and the ink stamped image. Then we're going to tape that down. And I need another piece here. There. Then we take this die and we pop it into that image there. You'll know when it's right because it'll slip right into place. And it's not shifting anymore, so that's good. This is a number 2 plate, and we can just crank this out. See how well that went? Then I'm going to show you how to do this here. Because normally these type of images, there is something on there where you can see where to put the die down, but it looks like it's all symmetrical. It doesn't look like there's anything that's different. So you just want to get that on there and make sure that the little bump is in the white spot there, and that the hollowed part is where the cog is going to be there. Okay? Then we can just go right down on top of that. There. Then we're using our second number 2 plate, and then we're going to just crank that out. All right, and now I've got the rest of these already cut out. Let me get this picked up. Before we go any further, I want to stamp the inside of the card, and we're going to use our Granny Apple Green again. We're going to stamp these 3 stalks on the right hand side, and I'm going to bring this paper in because I don't want to stamp it onto my work surface if I have a little bit on the other card. That worked. Just stamp it off. close this up right away. Then we're going to use our Daffodil Delight, and we'll do this 3 corn cobs. Yeah, I did okay. Stampin' off, and we'll close this up. And I'm going to put some glue on this. Let me get my Stampin' Scrub out first before we go any farther. Okay, so we're going to put glue on the back of this, and we want to put it inside the card right here. We're going to leave a 1/8 of an inch for a border on all 4 sides, or that would be 0.3 centimeters. There. And we're going to leave the inside blank. Okay, and we're going to decorate this now, the front of the card. And we'll start with the sky, and we're going to put our clouds in. I'm going to put them down here first, just to see how it looks. That should work there. Okay, I'm going to take this off and get that one down. And I want to have it right there. There's a little bit of glue right on top of that, and I didn't want to rub it in. And we'll do this one next. We won't have this one quite as high up. We'll have a little bit of border there. Then our corn stalks, right about like that. This is the fine stuff that I'm talking about that this glue gun works really well with. And I'm just going to put it over here. And I want to just make sure that I can lift this up. Yes. There. Then we're going to bring in these corn cobs. Don't know if you noticed, I didn't glue this top part down because I wanted to be able to bring these in and bring it underneath. There. And when I laid these out, I laid these as they were on the stamped image. So they're going back into the same spot where they were supposed to be. These up here for the other side, I have no idea which one goes where. And I don't think it's going to matter much. And my fingers are starting to get all full of glue. Let's see, we'll do this one next. Come on. And the next one, I am going to do it, and I'll speed up the tape while we're going. And it still works. Gatefold. Yep. Next we want to put down our tractor and trailer. So we're going to glue this down on the back of this. And we want to lower it a little bit because we don't need a lot to be on the corn cobs there. So we'll do it right about like that. So I'm just going to take this and put a bead of glue there. And we have it right about there, and then we're going to glue this one over here. We want to make sure that we got that tire that's going to be covered up, so that should be fine. Go up a little bit higher because we want to get our tires on there. Okay, we're going to glue this down now. That should work. Whoop. I don't want it to slip like that. I'm eyeballing it, making sure this is parallel with this line down here, and making sure that's parallel with the edge here. And make sure I don't have it glued down too high. Nope, it should be working fine. And then we just kind of twist this to get it in there. Okay, well, let's glue this one down. We'll go right about there. We're going to put in our seat cushion first. And I'm just going to dab that off from there. And then let's see what we need to do. So we will do all the tractor itself and leave these without any glue on them. There we go. Then we're going to put dimensionals on the back of these tires. We'll use the big dimensionals for those. And we want to put these on here, and we want to just make sure the base of the tire is standing in about the same position. So I'm going to use that as a guideline. Again, I'm using the grid marks in the tabletop to line this. And same thing here. Oops, let's get it over just a hair more. There. And then we'll put the mini dimensionals on this. I'm going to use my take your pick tool to get them on there. I'm going to go 4 around the tire and 1 in the center. I like to use a lot of dimensionals to make sure that it doesn't get all wonky when it goes through the mail in the post office. That's going to go in the center. Let me see if I can't move this one over a little bit more. There. And I'm just using my take your pick tool to take that off. And align this up again. That looks good. I think we are done. It would help if I would stamp the happy birthday on there, wouldn't it? So let's do the hay. I'm going to use Early Espresso. I'm going to bring it down here so I can get it just right. Sorry if my head's in the way. There. And we'll do this next. It's your birthday. Now I'd say we are done. I hope you liked this project as much as I did. Why don't you give it a try? Now, if you've enjoyed today's video, would you do me 2 favors? Click the thumbs up emoji, which means you like it. And would you share it on social media with your crafting friends and pin it to Pinterest? These actions will help me to keep sharing my ideas with other crafters for free, and I'd really appreciate that. Be sure to hit the subscribe button below so you won't miss any future videos. If you have any questions, be sure to contact me. I'm here to help in any way that I can. And if you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love to be your demonstrator. Just reach out to me. If you'd like to place a Stampin' Up! Order, or like a catalog, hop over to my website where you'll find the Shop Now button. To shop with me, you'll need to go to joanheberlein.stampinup.net. Mark your calendars. I'll be back next Sunday, September 21st at 7 p.m. Central Time, and we'll be making a card from the online exclusives. I hope you'll be here to join me. Thanks so much for being here with me tonight. I look forward to next time. Bye for now, and don't forget to subscribe.